And we're back with the special and the build for our Arcturus Mengsk Fallout 4 guy. So let's forget what he did in StarCraft 1 and 2 and let's just employ him to the best of his ability into Fallout 4. So, he will be a very smart guy, he will be extremely charismatic, he will be leading huge armies, and so on and so forth. And we absolutely need to do it. So, how do we do that? Our special allocation is 1, 3, 2, 10, 10, 1, 1. And this represents the fact that he is not at all strong. He is a charismatic leader. He is also a man of sort of advancing age. Perception 3 is okay because we will be making it 4 with the bubble head. Endurance 2, we will be making it 3 after we take the special book in Sanctuary. And Charisma and Intelligence will absolutely need to be 10 because this is exactly what this guy is. He is charismatic, he will use you, he will buy and sell you, and you will not ever understand that happened. That's the whole thing with this guy. And he's of course a master tactician and he's extremely smart. Agility 1 and Luck 1, those are attributes that he does not possess, as he is, as I said, a man of advancing age, and yeah. So, what about the build? You will notice something that may make you wonder why the hell did I pick Wasteland Whisperer 1 and Intimidation 1 on levels 5 and 6? Those two skills work better if the enemy is lower level than you. And if you pick those right at the beginning, most of the enemies might even out-level you. And your chances of you pacifying them reduce by by a good chunk of percentage. So the thing is, I would rather give myself some survivability at start, build up Sanctuary a bit, because that's usually the thing that you should be doing on survival. Because let's face it, you do want to make a good settlement, and you do want to be using that settlement to support you. So we will be giving ourselves 20 extra hit points, we will be giving ourselves a better gun, and we will be giving our .38 gun or the 10mm some extra damage. This is extremely important in my opinion, because in the first couple of levels you will have to be doing the killing yourself. Dogmeat is a good companion. I love dogs. I love Dogmeat. He's so cute and so on and so forth. But the thing is, on survival he is not all that useful. And with this build, I will really strongly suggest that you do what I usually do. Grab that power armor the way I showed you in the Jimmy Raynor build, and go grab Piper. Now that's how I always start my survival games, and I strongly suggest you do the same, because the sooner you get Piper and the sooner you max her affinity, you will be enjoying all those charisma checks, and you are really charismatic, and they will be giving you double experience all the time, or 99% of the time. There is always that 1% chance that you'll be extremely unlucky and fail the charisma check. And those double experience boosts from finding new stuff, they are absolutely amazing. Piper is pretty much the best follower for this build up until her max affinity. You can also totally opt to romance her as well, just to make this even more fun. And yeah, I know that there has already been a mod when you can get your followers pregnant. So yeah, if you can pop yourself in a young Valerian, that will be fun. And that will make the build twice as much canon, because come on, if you have your own Valerian Max, that would be really cool. So after Wasteland Whisperer and Intimidation, we will have a good chance to pacify all kinds of raiders. Well, you won't be able to pacify super mutants yet, but probably the ghouls. The ghouls are also an option. You can totally pacify a ghoul with this setup. So, level 7 Gunslinger 2, this gives us even more damage. Level 8 Life Giver 2, this gives us even more survivability. Level 9 Locksmith 1, and level 10 Inspirational 1. So far, so good. Really. So, on level 11, we'll be taking Nerd Rage 1, and this is our scapegoat. This is the scapegoat skill, because if you get terribly damaged, Nerd Rage 1 kicks, you get some extra protection, and the time slows as if you've taken jet, and you can hide somewhere, run away, whatever. This will be saving your butt more times than you can imagine in the early game. Level 12 is Hacker 1, we'll start working on Hacker as well. Gun Nut 1, Science 1, Gunslinger 3, Locksmith 2, Hacker 2, because Locksmith and Hacker, or most importantly Hacker, on Advanced you will be able to hack a lot of advanced terminals, or expert, in this case it's expert terminals, and you will be able to control a ton of protectrons and so on and so forth to employ as extra guards. If the protectron dies, big deal, you will just loot it and grab some really nice stuff. Level 18 is the local leader one. Why so late? Because the thing is, it's really important, in my opinion, to kick back on the local leader perk. Local leader is best employed around level 25, in my opinion. Why is that? Because first, you won't have all that much items and scrounge stuff that you need in order to build the stuff you most likely want out of this build. And secondly, local leader 2 needs to be supported by a number of secondary skills like science, medic, and cap collector. So I very rarely start building up settlements before level 30. No, not 13, 30. So pretty much most of the stuff that I did in those settlements that you've seen was done between the levels of 20 and 30, because thing is, it's nice to have built up settlements, but you will also be needing a ton of materials for that. I have cheated it out a bit. I have been using mostly preset and prefabs and so on and so forth, just to give myself this edge in the settlements, but part of it is not that interesting, because where's the fun in using something that's preset? You want to do something unique, something amazing, something that allows the others to look at your screenshot and say, wow, that actually looks pretty damn cool. Yeah, that's the thing. This is why I would strongly suggest you start building around between the levels of 20 and 30. Don't go crazy on settlement buildup. I did it just for fun. You can do the same. I'm absolutely not saying anything else, because this is why I also picked local leader 1 on level 18, because with local leader 1 you can totally link the workshops in your settlements, and those workshops will give you the amount of stuff that you have in sanctuary on the other locations at any other location. And this is amazing. You can totally start building around level 20, just like I did. If you're so eager, go ahead and do it. I'm just telling you that as soon as you round up with Collector 2 at level 29, in my case, you will be doing even more. If you want to grab those extra XP points that will push you to the next level, so much the better. Go ahead, do it. I did it myself. But what I'm saying is, this is just a word of caution, because it is not so. It's not fun when you have that big project in your head. You want to make this and that and that and that and that, and you suddenly realize that you're missing some materials. Yeah, and then you have to go out and fight stuff and procure them and so on and so forth. It's better when you have all the materials and you let your imagination run wild. Okay, enough of the rambling. So, local leader 1 on level 18 to connect the settlements, inspirational 2 on level 19 in order to make your companion even more useful, life giver 3 on level 20 to give yourself even more hit points and make yourself even more survivable. Wasteland Whisperer on level 21 because that's the breakpoint. Intimidation 2 on level 23 because that's the breakpoint. And in the meantime, we will slowly be working at Robotics Expert. Thing is, Robotics Expert 1 is pretty much all that you need in order to shut down robotic enemies or just make them self-destruct or something like this. It is a very nifty perk that if you manage to proc successfully, yeah, it will be doing a lot of stuff. It will be totally helpful against those assaultrons, protectrons, sentry bots, and so on and so forth that start out as enemies. If they're totally aggroed, yeah, go ahead, do something about it. So, level 24, we take local leader to why now? Because we will slowly be building from local leader to cap collector in the next 5 levels in order to give ourselves the most out of our settlements, because with that much charisma, people will start flocking to your banners, and you really need to accommodate them and have them work for you. And of course, this is all that Arcturus Mengsk wants. People to work for him, to die for him, to make him stronger, more powerful, and so on and so forth. And make him feel great, because yeah, that's the guy that he is. So, level 25, gun nut 3, and with science and gun nut, we'll be working on our guns as much as possible. Since you have a very high charisma build, you will be able to sell all kinds of extra stuff that you don't need, and you will be selling them at pretty much at cost. Like the best you can get is like 80% of the purchase price, which is extremely good. I think it maxes out at like 16 charisma or like 12 charisma and 2 levels of cap collector, and if you get all the jerky vendors and stuff, it will 10 charisma will be more than enough. And if you're playing properly, you will unlock covenant, you will get them to follow you, and you will buy the destroyer's helmet, which will give you a point in charisma and intelligence, which means even more experience, even better prices, and so on and so forth. It's just amazing just how much this build does. Just make sure to give it like 5 minutes to go to, say, Covenant, Diamond City, sell the stuff, and so on and so forth. Load your pockets, load your companions' pockets, just go ahead and sell all the stuff, make the caps, buy yourself some ammunition if necessary, and just save all the rest. You will notice that I'm totally not picking armorer by now, and it has a very simple reason for it. You will be making tons of caps through these sales. Those caps can be used to buy you pretty much every single thing you want in the game. You want the destroyer armor and stuff, go ahead, buy it from Bunker Hill. You want the destroyer's helmet, go ahead, buy it from Covenant. Since you will be buying stuff at way lower prices, they won't be looking like 16,000 caps, 17,000 caps, and so on and so forth that the vendors are asking from you. No, I will let you get surprised at just how cheap those stuff are. This is why I totally discovered that I absolutely don't need the Scrounger and the Fortune Finder. I thought I'll be needing those caps, and it just appeared that all the stuff I want to buy is cheap as... Not gonna use the word. So, back to the build. Since we've got local leader 2 and gun nut 3, we'll be getting medic in order to allow ourselves to build clinics at our settlements, gunslinger for more damage, cap collector 1 and 2 in order to allow us to get the level 3 shops and turn them eventually into level 4. You will need a guide for that if you don't know how to do it. There are plenty of good guides on YouTube and on the internet on how to get the level 4 merchants, because you really want to grab a settlement like that huge open area that is the Starlight Drive-In, or just make Sanctuary even prettier and grab those shops and turn them from level 3 into level 4, because a level 4 shop acts as a true shop. That's the thing. You are allowed to buy and sell stuff from that shop, and that's in your own settlement, which is downright amazing. I absolutely love spending caps on stuff that I actually need before I find it, because this build is not that great at fighting, and if you can get that extra edge before you go out adventuring, so much the better. So, moving on, we have Science 2 at level 30, and we'll get to improve our other weapons even more. So, like plasma pistols, energy pistols, institute pistols, laser pistols, whatever, whatever. And of course, the alien blaster will be doing even more damage, which is really nice. You should totally grab the alien blaster and eventually turn it into another one. Like it when it runs out of those. Alien blaster ammo, you can improve it into. I think it was with laser ammunition, which you'll be getting plenty of. So much the better. At level 31, we get the second level of Nerd Rage 2, and this is extremely important because you'll have even more damage reduction. You'll have your slow time and so on and so forth. You'll be doing even more damage, and yeah, it's really damn good to save your skin when you actually need it. Then we're continuing with Locksmith 3 and Hacker 3 in order to unlock Master Locks and Master Terminals, and this pretty much rounds everything that you want from this build in terms of going anywhere, doing anything, because nothing can stop you right now. You can unlock every safe, you can hack every terminal, and you don't even need to think about the fourth level of it. Science 3 on level 34, and then we'll go crazy on Armorer. Because the thing is, as I said, you don't really need the fourth level of the levels of Armorer before that, because there are so many suits of armor that you can buy. Some of them are even legendary. They cost a little bit more, but since you'll be making tons of caps, you shouldn't even care about that. And as you'll fight, you will also find mods for those suits of armor, and I would strongly suggest not just scrap stuff or dump it into your workbench and just like I was. Strip them of mods and then scrap them. Because if you find yourself a max leather mod, and then you find yourself a nice legendary item that you can buy, just apply the mod and it will work as if you had that armor. This is why I'm picking armor from 36 to 39, because this is the way I am making my builds. If I want a certain level of a perk, in this case it's armor 4, I always pick all other perk levels right before the level that I want. If I need something in between, let's say I want Scrounger 4 at level 37. In this case I don't, but let's say I do. I will move Armorer 2 at 36 and Armorer 1 at 35, and then just grab Scrounger 4 at 37. The thing is, in this case I want Armorer 4. I want this thing here. And this is why I'm grabbing all other perks before that. I want Armorer 4 in order to make myself the best ballistic sweep. I will most likely. I have absolutely thought that I'll get Reginald's suit and just make it with a ballistic sweep, and then grab a nice. Either keep the. It's a difficult choice. Grab a better hat or just keep the destroyer's helmet. Maybe the better hat is okay, but thing is, eventually you want to have as much charisma as possible in order to ensure yourself better pacification chance. So moving on, level 40, we're not going to be playing with gun nut 4. Since we're using pistols pretty much get their full potential from gun nut 3. You will need maybe some more science, but thing is, Science 3 and Gun Nut 3 are pretty much enough to deal with most of your pistol needs. The fourth levels are for stronger weapons like rifles, ghost rifles, Gatling lasers, and so on and so forth. This is why I'm totally skipping those two, and I'll be grabbing Robotics Expert And eventually, I will also grab Medic 4 in order to give myself some more survivability and faster working Stim packs. Because survival is a bad level, and if you're not regenerating properly, you will die. N- Nothing saves you from a very powerful poison, unless you manage to find yourself a good amount of poisoners parts that give you 25% resistance. This is why I opted to pick Robotics Expert on level 2, Medic on level for Robotics Expert level 2 on 40, then Medic 2, final level of Gunslinger, final level of Inspirational, final level of Robotics Expert, and then the 2 levels of Medic, because Medic rounds at 46. The last level of Medic is on 46, so you cannot get it earlier. That's the point. And since level 47 and 48 are pretty much free for me, I opted to grab Scrapper. I thought this is the best way to round up the build, because with Scrapper you will be finding more stuff as you scrap items, and those stuff will be extremely useful when you want to make, say, another ballistics wave for your follower, because you absolutely need to make sure that your follower is surviving as much as possible. If they go down, chances are you'll be the next one. And this is why Scrapper 1 and 2 will give you more stuff to use in your settlements, for your follower, and so on and so forth. And to round up the build, we take Wasteland Whisperer and Intimidation. Around at level 50 you should be at a very, very strong position. This build starts extremely weak and ends up really, really strongly. So the last point that I haven't covered are followers. So Dance is pretty much the best follower in the game, but there is always a but, and not that but with 1T. Dance may be good, but I personally found that Kate is probably the best follower if you give her good armor, if you give her a ballistic sweep and let her actually be melee and not ranged. Give her some really nice hammer, or maybe buy her that General Chow's stuff, or give her something that's leveled up. She will be going in front of you, go into the faces of the enemies, attack them, and this way she will draw aggro from you. If she doesn't manage to do that, well, you still have your VATs. You still have some options to cripple enemies' limbs, or just shoot them in the head and try to drop them before they get to you, or just make a strategic retreat to a place where you can be safer, or when you can perch or something like this, where some place where you're safer than any other occasion. So ideally you would want to go with Dance, but nobody forces you to do the Brotherhood of Steel missions, and I would say the second best option for this build is Kate. You don't want anyone that fights at a distance. You don't want Preston. We take Preston for his. We take Preston second just for his perk, because you will not be sneaking, you will not be doing anything else, and Preston Garvey's perk is amazing when you're facing more than 2 opponents. This is why I have very limited amount of followers, so I'd say the best option is grab Piper, max her affinity by the time that you're done with Preston's questline. As you're done with it, grab Preston, make him happy. When you're done, go to the combat zone, grab Kate, and should you decide to play with the Brotherhood of Steel, grab Dance as a follower eventually. He is the best one. He is downright the best follower, because he's extremely well protected, he can carry a ton of stuff, and he does a really good damage. But that's pretty much up to you. Well, quite a nice build, isn't it? I would have to say that Arcturus, from all 3 builds up until now, Arcturus's build is the most fun one. because Jimmy's build is all about getting into their faces, killing them, using that amazing suit of power armor, and pretty much never dying. Kerrigan's build is extremely patient, extremely methodic, and you need to be very careful and be very aware of your surroundings. Otherwise, you can very easily die. Pretty much, which is also very much canon because if Kerrigan gets spotted, she's pretty much dead, especially on the higher StarCraft 1 difficulties. And eventually, Arcturus Mengsk, who can put everyone under his control and make them do whatever you want. It's really cool running around with let's say a over leveled gunner, or why not a Yao Guai eventually should you decide to go 51, 52, 53 for the animal whisperer as well, so you can tame animals. Thing is, we are omitting the animals because come on, what are you going to do with an animal? So they are not at all plentiful, and you find them on a very few occasions. And let's face it, they are not at all powerful. But if you manage to control yourself a very high power death claw, it's downright amazing. The only thing that hinders this build is the fact that should you decide to fast travel, you are losing your minion, so to speak. Of course, the companion will follow you, but the minion will be lost, and you will have to re-pacify them should you decide to get to that area again. But then again, pacifying people is amazing. It's just downright amazing. You will have to experience this type of gameplay at least once. And with this build, you will be gaining tons of experience. You will be buying, selling, doing whatever you feel like. It's amazing. You really have to experience it. So, I would say enough rambling. I have been praising this build all the time, and it's done for a good reason. But then again, you may so choose that this build is not for you. But, well, if you're looking for a very different experience, I would strongly suggest that you try it. So, let's just stop rambling and continue into the next part of the video. I hope you enjoyed the build setup.